Finally, I'd like to introduce you to Chantal from Eteach.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is just an absolute privilege to be able to speak amongst all of you amazing people. You are champions and leaders in your industry. I have really been in awe this afternoon just looking around at all the faces and the companies and everything that everybody is doing. And I'm thinking, I was just a teacher, and then I need to keep reminding myself that that is really just, we wouldn't have all been here if it wasn't for our teachers. So when I decided to go into teaching, I think it wasn't really the most positive direction. It was like, why did you do maths and science at school if you're only really going to be a teacher? And I think that is the biggest misconception. It is possibly the most rewarding job that I'm a massive advocate for it because I absolutely loved it. I started off my degree, I started with primary education, but a little bit too much on the creative side, and I needed to, extend a bit, so then I decided to specialize in mathematics, and I did an honors degree in South Africa in mathematics education, and on qualifying of that, I then taught teenage girls, maths and science, which was possibly the biggest challenge. I don't know if it was the maths and science part or the teenage girls part, but it was, so I then led on to run the maths and science department in my school in South Africa, and then I decided it was time to make a change, and I think that is where the saying about fear and jumping in, and if you don't do it, you'll never know, and the confidence will follow. Even standing up here, I'm hoping the confidence will follow, but after doing that, I met some amazing people in the field, and I met a doctor in education in the States, and she invited me to go to Houston for 6 months. I took a sabbatical, and I helped them open a maths and science department for a very an independent school, a private school. What an amazing experience. If I never took that leap in going to teach across the world from South Africa, I never would have landed up here in the UK. I then decided that I couldn't, if I stayed in South Africa, and this is just one of those things, I was teaching at a school actually that I went to, and there were some of the teachers that were still there when I was little, and I was like, if I don't make a move now, I'm going to be at the school until I retire, and I need to experience the world. So I decided, coming from a head of department, and I was running the middle school at that stage, I just came to the UK as just a maths and science teacher, which was wonderful, for being the personality I'm at. Head of science department. 6 weeks later, that was the position. So I became a head of science at a all-boys independent school, which was excellent. I didn't have to work very hard to engage them because science is fun. Science is amazing. So after running that department, it was just, just an absolute joy to be able to see what it is to teach, not only just children, but to be able to teach in the sciences. I see all of you amazing graduates and have loved hearing the stories, and I think what teacher inspired you to get into this field and to take that leap and to come and teach and to study in sciences. So STEM education it's something that's new in the world of education. It's not new in the world that you guys come from, but trying to work from an old school curriculum that is very driven on just maths or just science or just history. The curriculum isn't changing as quickly as what the world is changing, and that is the scary thing. So STEM education it's a hands-on approach. It is about teaching problem solving. It's about teaching, knowledge retention. It's the conceptual understanding of the things behind the big story. It is, without STEM education, we wouldn't be able to do the simple tasks like cooking, to then optimizing company profits and then to coding and everything that you guys do at your companies. It is about the bigger picture, the blue sky thinking. It's about what is more. There is a generation of children that we are teaching, and we are preparing them for jobs that haven't even been invented yet. And it's about finding those kinds of teachers that are willing to take that leap and go beyond the curriculum and teach children what it is that the real world that's out there. I think I've actually missed a whole slide, sorry. STEM education was my next thing. So when we look at teaching in the UK, we are struggling at the moment. There is a massive retention crisis, especially after COVID, when I was just speaking earlier about flexible working came into play. but that is where the world of teaching has had to take a bit of a change and see we have to start fitting in with the world. So there are many different options to go into teaching, which I'll get into soon. But just to look at yesterday, these were the final numbers. These are the job vacancies that we have literally for September. We have about 3,458 secondary schools in England itself. There are a total of 3,275 STEM-related jobs that are vacant for September that we are struggling to fill because we don't have the teachers to do it. So that's literally almost one STEM vacancy per secondary school that needs filling for the next academic year, which is in a few months in September. So you can see the absolute shortage of teachers that are qualified in specific fields. There is really a very big struggle. With all the degrees, there are many different routes that you can take getting into teaching. To be a teacher in a state school in the UK, you need something that's called QTS, which is your qualified teaching status. In order to achieve that, you can either do, obviously, if you did your bachelor's degree in education, you gain QTS, but also you could do a school-centred training. So with your science degrees that you have at the moment, you can do a school-centred training, which is a one-year course that you are actually placed in a school, you are placed in a classroom, placed in front of children, and you are able then to do your PGC through it. You are possibly in a school 4 days a week, and then the 5th day you are doing your learning, you're going to school, the pedagogical side of things, the psychological side of things, the assignments, the teaching standards, all those things. And then obviously your postgrad and certificate in education, it is more university-based, so then you'll do just certain teacher placements. So it's not a full-on school-centered one, but it is an excellent, and also postgrad is quite a popular choice because then you can teach internationally, which is really great. So we also work with one of the biggest teaching school hubs in the southeast, and they do the school-centered training. So what they do, they call the Xavier Catholic Education Trust and Teach Southeast. They work with all the schools in Surrey and they do the initial teacher training. Once you've got your PGC, they also do your early career teacher induction period, which is 2 years. And that's where I come in at Eteach. I work with the teacher training. I work with, once we've recruited teachers, looking after those teachers and supporting them and putting the systems in place and helping with all those things. So that leads me actually on to teaching at Eteach. So I taught for 17 years, and I've only recently just left the classroom in April, and I will definitely be going back to the classroom because I realise how much I miss it just being out of it. So I'm working with Eteach, which is an EdTech group. So obviously they were originally recruitment, but it has become, it was the first online UK job board in education. It works with we've got many different facets to the business. We've got a tutoring service, we've got advisory service, we've got the recruitment services, but at the end of the day, it's an EdTech company, and the software that we use, it is to help schools with their recruitment situations and the software. It started by a teacher. Our CEO is Paul Howes, and he was a PE teacher back in the day and started Eteach in 2001, and it is now run by his son, Reese, so it's a lovely family business to work at, and I'm extremely, extremely privileged to be able to use what I knew in teaching and do something else. And I think that's another misconception people have, is once you become a teacher, that's it, you're stuck to the four walls of the classroom. And I've seen so many amazing women doing things with their teaching degree and working outside and still being able to influence children around them. Let me see okay, so the areas that we can help. So Education Boutique is our tutoring service. What's lovely about tutoring is if you are not a qualified teacher, you can still be able to share that knowledge that you have with tutoring. Again, after COVID, we have got hours and hours and hours of tutoring available, looking for people, especially computer science is like a huge, I'm going to use the word unicorn because it's like pretty much like that difficult to find. Science teachers, maths teachers, design technology, it is so difficult to find people that are wanting to actually share that knowledge with children. They really need that kind of advice. So Education Boutique is our tutoring service, so we're always looking for tutors. The job board, that is where we have almost like every single vacancy in the UK. We have thousands and thousands of jobs available. I showed you the numbers earlier. And education advisors is possibly the most exciting aspect for me, because you do not need to be a teacher to be able to support. So what we do as education advisors, once schools have inspections and stuff, there's so often like little cracks, so it might be even financial department, HR department, besides the teaching and learning and curriculum. And as people, especially business consultants, specialists in their field that are able to go into schools when these specific projects and bespoke needs come up, to be able to go in and support on a consultancy basis. And then the Eteach ECT community is our new division where we are there to help the retention crisis that we are in and to support the early career teachers over their 2 years that they are starting teaching. So again, I just need to express my gratitude. It's been an honor and a privilege to meet all of you today. I hope I've been able to inspire those that I've spoken to about getting into teaching. I think once you see the spark in a child's eye and you see that light bulb moment and you know that you've played a really small part in, making that connection happen, it is something that you will remember forever. It's a little bit, I've always said it's a selfish job to have, because I feel like I get more out of it at the end of the day. And, getting in the car in the morning and being able to be that person to support and mold a child it is truly an honor. And so I hope you all had an inspirational teacher back in the day that made you decide to go into the field that you are in. It's what a wonderful privilege speaking alongside the two of you. Your companies are amazing. Sometimes it sounded a little bit like Greek to me. I didn't even get that far in technology. But thank you all, and hopefully chat to you. And if you've got some questions, I think that's coming up next. Thank you.